Good afternoon, everyone. So we're going to start the Economic Development Committee meeting, August 2nd. Courtesy of the floor. No courtesy of the floor. Okay. Okay, we're up with the presentation by the City of Bethlehem. Would you mind coming up and, are they here? Yep. Oh, there she is. Hi.
Amy is here from the city as the deputy at DCD office.
Great. So thank
Okay,
you.
you have the floor.
Thank you for the time. We really appreciate it. As said, my name's Amy Burkhardt. I'm the Deputy Director for Community and Economic Development in the City of Bethlehem, and we're here to really sort of highlight the accomplishments that we were able to achieve with the CRBG program that we were fortunate to be funded through the county back in 2016 at a level of $100,000 that really allowed us to implement a robust business development and retention program within our community. And we wanted to come back and highlight what we've accomplished with that, but also we're looking for support to continue that robust program that we now have within the community. So a little bit about the history on the program. Like I said, we started back in 2016 with our initial request. What we were looking to do and what we were experiencing at that time is that we knew our downtown brick and mortar storefronts were really struggling with an emerging technology and emerging markets. And we wanted to make sure we were doing everything that we could to stabilize our downtowns, make sure they remain vibrant over time, make sure that we have the right mix of businesses and the right mix of tenants within our community so that we continue to be a destination that people want to shop and dine in. So what we were looking to do with the funding at that time was to first of all complete a comprehensive analysis of the market of our downtowns, both of the downtowns, the Northside and the Southside separately, as well as hiring a business development and retention specialist that once that analysis was completed, they would be able to implement the recommendations provided within that analysis. So we wound up contracting for the analysis with Retail Strategies. Retail Strategies is a nationally recognized retail recruiter. They work with cities across the United States, and the reason that we chose them as the organization to complete this strategy is they were really able to offer us a comprehensive analysis, not just looking at national trends and allowing us to really provide information to our businesses about how to realign themselves in a changing market, but also gave us good, robust information about the city as a whole, as well as really drilled down to specific demographics to each downtown within the core downtown areas. So it was a very robust analysis that they were able to provide us. One of the elements, of course, is also this aerial overview map, and you might notice that these are all chain establishments within the city, and that's not really what we're going for. That's not who we're recruiting with our efforts with the business retention and specialist position. However, what I do want to note about this is there are specific regional franchises that do fit within our downtowns very nicely, and this kind of analysis helps them determine where they're going to place themselves. If we take, for example, on the south side, Pliables is one of our newest businesses. They are a regional franchise. They fit well within our downtown model, and they offer a great product that really helps to diversify. Oh, thank you, yes. Really helps to diversify what we offer within our community. From the national trend standpoint, what they were really able to point out to us were a couple of things. First of all, no surprise that e-commerce continues to grow, and that retailers as a whole really need to identify how they're going to deal with their retail strategies and how they're going to deal with e-commerce, because that's an essential component in today's market. Secondly, the emergence of the millennial shopper as the largest shopping demographic now in the United States. At 83 million millennials, they have a consumer ability to really impact the market. And the interesting part about millennials is they shop differently than their parents did. They're more likely to shop with handheld devices. They're more likely to be swayed by omnichannel marketing. They like in-store experiences. They do enjoy experiential retail. So they're a different kind of shopper. And it's very important that brick and mortar stores align themselves to start looking at this emerging market so that they can start attracting them as a consumer base as well as providing all the back end information that is required to appeal to that market. Like, can you find your store online? And specifically, can you find it from your phone while sitting at a restaurant 2 feet away from the store? So it's important stuff. You know, like, how do you make sure your store is in front of the right population who is looking to shop and dine? And like I said, experiential retail is also very important. I think we know you can buy almost anything from Amazon. I mean, really, almost anything. But what you can't buy is an experience. You can't dine in Amazon. You can't take a class in Amazon. Like, you can't be there and touch and feel a product and really have that experience. So experiential retail is an emerging market and a very stable market. It involves shopping, it involves entertainment, it involves theater, it involves classes that you might do in store. So like, even if you have a more traditional brick and mortar store, just looking at ways to add experience to that market as a component of what you do is an important part of like remaining stable in today's market. So the good news about the national trends is, even with all that change, even with all the disruption, brick and mortar really do still dominate. It is 73% of people still prefer to shop in store rather than online. They like to see the product, they like to touch the product, they like to know what they're getting, and they actually like to interact with human beings. So like, being able to provide that like in our downtowns is very important. And like I said, the nice thing about retail strategies is they were able to provide us a great overview of national trends, city overviews, but specifically drilling down into our downtowns. Because what we find in Bethlehem, and we're very unique, we have 2 unique downtowns. They're different, they pull from different populations, they pull from different audiences, and they have different mixes of businesses within each of their boundaries. So retail strategies, when they're doing the analysis, they were able to create a customized market for each of the downtowns. This is the outline of what we find in the Northside. They use mobile tracking technology specifically. So like, historically, you've kind of worked with drive times and a radius around your downtown to determine like who you thought the potential shoppers were going to be. In today's day and age, you can use mobile tracking to determine who actually came to your downtown and how far they traveled to get there. So in using this mobile tracking technology, Retail Strategies was able to provide the customized market area for us for the north side. And you can see it's pretty extensive. It goes all the way down toward Doylestown. It goes up toward East Stroudsburg. Like, people are willing to travel to get to the historic Northside Bethlehem community. And they have traveled to get there. And once we have that customized market area, we know that in there's 1.2 million people. We know that the average salary is $48,000, average employee salary. But most importantly, what we know is what the market leakage is. So when you're comparing like how much people can actually buy that live in that market in comparison to what they actually purchase in that market, what we see is within this customized trade area, there is $3.9 billion that could be captured within the trade area that currently isn't. Those are dollars that, if we position the correct stores in our downtowns, could potentially be captured in our downtowns. So we're looking to like really sort of pin down that information, and we were able to really identify what types of products that particular population is looking for as well. Like I said, we were doing market analysis for both the north side and the south side. This is the south side's customized trade area. It's a little different. Again, very comprehensive. People are traveling a little further north, a little further south. 1.3 million people in that particular trade area, 49,000 average employee salary. The market leakage on the south side is $1.7 billion for that particular trade area. And so, like I said, those are dollars that could be captured within there that currently are not. Those are dollars that are being spent outside that trade area that could be caught within the trade area. So these are important components as we're looking, so that we know we have the capacity to put storefronts and put retail establishments in our downtown. So within the trade areas as well, it's not enough for us to just simply know what the gap is and what the leakage is. We also want to know who's living there, so we can, again, start identifying the right stores and the stores that are going to succeed in the downtown specifically. So Retail Strategies runs what's called psychographic profiles of those areas. Psychographic profiles are actually generated by Esri, and they're a little unique. You can see we have a psychographic profile of Green Acres. That is one segment of our population. Just got to pull it up, I apologize. This is the part I didn't memorize. So Green Acres, it comprises 13.6% of the population within that trade area. They have a median household income of $72,000. They're avid do-it-yourselfers, and they really, you know, they're primarily married couples, and they love maintaining and remodeling their homes. So finding stores that would fit that particular demographic is an important component of what we're looking at. The second largest category that we have are Parks and Rec, what they call Parks and Rec as a psychographic profile. That's 12.7% of that population. Average household income of $55,000. And many are two-income married couples within that area. And the third one is called Savvy Suburbanites. They all have like nice names to go with their particular profile. But savvy suburbanites, yeah, they comprise 8.4% of that population. Median household income is $104,000. And largely empty nesters enjoy, you know, dining, enjoy amenities of the city's cultural events. So again, this is kind of this is a high-level overview of the massive amount of information we were able to collect so that we can start identifying the best businesses that will succeed within our communities. So as I mentioned, there's Savvy Suburbanites. Not Savvy, no, sorry. Savvy Suburbanites. So with all the information that we were able to collect and really identify focus areas that would do best within our community, it's also important that we had that position and that specialist hired to be able to implement those strategies and start really recruiting businesses that are going to do well in our downtowns to those areas. So this is a map of the available storefronts that we have in both the Northside and the Southside downtowns.
The Flying Egg, huh?
Roasted is on the
No,
south
Flying
side.
Egg is on the north side.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, Roasted on the south.
We'll take a trip there right after here. No, it's a really good place. So some of the success stories that we see. So we've been implementing, like I said, a robust business recruitment and retention program within the city. We've seen businesses come into our community. We've seen them specifically locating in our downtown. And I think that's, again, I go back to that, like we're really focusing on the downtowns because historic downtowns struggle the most in being able to recruit appropriate businesses and remain relevant in today's market. So we hired a business development and retention position. The position is a liaison between the city as well as the businesses, providing information about city resources, about funding opportunities, about site selection, permitting process, really making the process of starting a business and getting acquainted with our community a more streamlined process and more hand-holding to get them from the streets into a nice brick-and-mortar storefront within our community. The specialist also provides site tours as needed for new and expanding businesses. They work with our real estate market. We're not realtors. We work with the realtors to help identify the appropriate locations. They communicate with new and existing businesses as well as just check in with our existing businesses to ensure that we have our fingers on the pulse of what the hurdles their hurdles are so that we can try to identify them and overcome them together. And they assist with the development and implementation of a business marketing strategy and just the comprehensive recruitment efforts that we have ongoing. When our business retention and excuse me while I stutter for a second. Okay. When our business development and retention specialist started, we tracked 320 storefronts within both of the downtowns. Wow. At that time, there was an 8% vacancy within our community. And to give you an idea of the level of success that we've had with this program, within 6 months of business development efforts, an additional 5 new storefronts opened up in our downtowns specifically, not community-wide, just in our downtowns, reducing our vacancy rate from 8% to 5%. So we were able to see very quick and fast success. Further, the business development and recruitment specialist implemented an outreach program that we would be able to recruit businesses within a 60-mile drive radius within our community who would fit the demographics of our community and who would be able to succeed within our downtowns. The initial campaign actually worked with pop-up shops that would have been part of Christmas City Village or Christkindl Market because they already understood the market of the city of Bethlehem. And out of that initial campaign, we connected with 22 businesses, 5 of which who are now leads for us, who have an interest in locating within the city of Bethlehem, perhaps not in the immediate sense, but in the future sense, that we can continue to interact with them and engage them to bring them into the city. And 2 of them actually implemented and started stores within the community. So we had 2 additional storefronts filled from that campaign specifically. Going forward, we are hoping to continue these efforts. Like, it's really important. Like, we've seen a lot of success with the position, with making these efforts and making sure that we're recruiting and streamlining this process for bringing people into our downtowns. So we're looking to continue that program. That program would include business recruitment and outreach, as we've already discussed. It includes attendance at ICSC seminars to keep a real good gauge of industry standards as well as like industry trends that we see. So ICSC is the shopping center conference, and so like we would be able to like really keep engaged with the retail market specifically. They would network with local landlords and listing agents to ensure that we're placing our businesses at the right locations and that we have great storefronts to put them in, as well as visiting existing businesses to continue to gauge the hurdles that they have that we could, again, work together to overcome them. Overall, we found this to be a great program, and we're here, again, to request continued support as part of that program. The initial phase was $100,000, and so like we've developed and we have a handout in your hands that the second phase was also $100,000 to continue that program. But I will happily answer any questions regarding our accomplishments or any of the future plans for this.
Did the report talk about the age? I know you identified all the different categories, the people that make a little more money, and the empty nesters, and the people that like to fix their homes up. But I heard you talk about like targeting, like you have the colleges there. You know, did they take that into consideration, or did I miss that? Did you?
We take that into consideration.
Is that the stuff they get from the mobile?
That is part of what they get.
Is that ESSI or something?
I'm sorry.
What was the name of the group that did the mobile? Esri.
Well, no, the mobile technology is different. So the mobile technology, I'm not really sure which company they used.
Okay.
And that's a really interesting technology, and certainly I think one that's very impactful. So that was able to track, specifically what we did was we found 6 examples of, businesses in our downtowns, and you have to draw a map around those businesses and track what mobile devices are in them, and then we track how far they go after that.
My curiosity is, have they identified how many people in the 20-year-olds or, that they think is going to come or already did come? I mean, was it?
We did.
Some of their study was based on history.
Yeah,
right?
so some of their study was based off of history. I could pull that number. I don't have it with me.
Okay,
like
no, that's all right.
We did get a lot of information, so that's easily pulled out of the information that we have.
But that's part of the. That's part of their study.
It's
okay, that's all my question was. Okay, sure.
Can I ask
Oh yeah, please.
Yeah. I don't really understand how you calculate total market leakage. How do you make any assumptions that the money could otherwise be spent inside Bethlehem that's not being? Because $3.9 billion seems like a lot.
It is a lot. Now, please remember that $3.9 billion is for that customized trade area.
Yeah, that's
So-
only the north side.
Yeah, but the customized trade area goes far beyond the north side. So this whole area has $3.9 billion of leakage. Yes.
To East Stroudsburg and Quakertown.
So it is a huge number, for one. But this is an Esri-generated data set. So this is not a data set that we make. But Esri, who's the ArcGIS program, they do a lot of communities use them for mapping. They also use them for demographic information. But they pull from many data sets, including census information, and I can't even list all, but Esri pulls into their data sets to determine how the market leakage works.
Right, but you're trying to say that $3.9 billion could otherwise be spent in this area.
Yes.
That's not being spent. So I don't understand where you come up with that. You'd have to know what everybody's buying.
They do, and I apologize because of the amount that was on agenda, I didn't bring in all the slides that go with this. So they do generate additional, like I have additional slides on this that sort of indicate what the spending in these areas is in comparison to what the purchases in these areas, in this area is. And so it gets tracked, like what you see here is the color-coded portion of this. It's tracked by census block. And so when you're pulling in all the census information, all of that information, like they're able to determine on that and then really.
So what percentage of this $3.9 billion do you anticipate could be spent in Bethlehem if it's, and is that what you're trying to achieve, to get a piece of that? That's what I would think.
We're definitely trying to achieve getting a piece of that. What we're trying to do is achieve getting a piece of that, as well as positioning the right kind of businesses in our downtown, that they're filling the market that actually exists.
Okay. That just seems.
Okay. Mr. Heckman?
Yeah, real quick, because I know we got a lot to do. No.
Are you, I'm sorry, were you
No,
done?
I'm done.
I've got a few
Okay.
things. One is, I gotta say, the terminology's great. I think the economic development folks are catching up with human services, market leakage, psychographic. I mean, that's fantastic. I've always been
Psychographic.
fascinated with terminology. It's, lawyers used to think they only had the
Jargon.
Semantics.
but it's leaked into all other fields.
I know.
Question, income that you were speaking about, the income groups, is that the income of folks that coming in, using that market or participating in that market, or the actual residents?
The actual residents.
Wow, that seems really high. I mean, that's just my own opinion, but
Yeah.
I'm just
Where
saying.
are these people working?
Huh?
I was like, where are these people working?
Well, I mean, yeah, giving it that it's the average, I mean, that tells me, just from what I know of Bethlehem, there's some people making a lot of money, because there's a lot of people not making that much money. But anyway, they're spending in the store, so be it.
I would like to, get a little bit more information from you. I do think it's important to have that. Yeah, and you need that liaison person. I think you do. I don't know what the rest of the committee feels or what council feels like, but I think it's important to have, if you don't have that connection there, how are you going to get the realtors to get to the, you need the realtors to get to the businesses to kind of, as a conduit, that's pretty
Yeah.
much what we're talking about here. And these studies help support the position or help support the.
Well, and these studies help support us in our recruitment efforts. So like when we take this information to businesses specifically, and that's who it's really generated for, is like the businesses that we're recruiting, that they know that when they come to Bethlehem, there's a market for their product.
But if you don't have that person ready and available, you're going to miss opportunities.
we
And
do.
it only
Miss that
knocks
link.
once sometimes. I get that. So I
Correct.
don't know if anybody else from council has questions.
I'd like to follow up, if I could. Since we have the pleasure of Ms. Carner being here, the director, could I ask you a question? It's probably off topic, but Mr. Kraft may be upset, but that's neither here. He's the chairman, Mr. McGee. Robinson.
Robert's rules.
Robinson's Rules of Order.
Gracious Mr. Kraft said, you have the floor.
Just real quick, last time we talked to you, the corridor, Main Street corridor, I remember you gave us a presentation on fixing it, we had a vote.
On the LERTA program you're
The
talking
LERTA,
about?
how's that coming along? And
Good,
I don't need a long explanation, just how's it coming along? 'Cause
It's coming along great.
somebody asked me.
So we had a
Yeah.
big meeting last year, and we
Yeah.
had remarkable attendance from the community. We had a meeting at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and there were a tremendous amount of people that showed up from the community. So we were very pleased in the amount of interest. We've created the committee, and Mr. Kraft is a member of the committee. We had our first meeting with a consultant about 2 weeks ago at this point.
Where's the committee report?
Our next committee meeting is scheduled for the 23rd, where we're going to outline we've hired WRT, Wallace, Robertson, Todd, to be our partner when engaging the community and coming up with the vision plan of Northside 2027. We had a meeting today talking about the $50,000 the county has requested we spend, and so we're looking at Friendship Park, which is right in probably the eastern part of the district, and so we have a presentation that will occur on the 23rd on how we're proposing to spend that money to the committee, so it's coming along well.
Good. Yeah, I think it was mainly like that 800, 900 block. I know there's been some issues, and I was just curious. But thank you. That was an update, and yeah, I appreciate it, Alicia. Thank you very much. I'm finished, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Anyone else? Oh, Mr. Warner, question?
Getting back to you, Amy, if I might, okay? The CRBG funds are paid, what percentage is that used to pay the business development retention person?
What percentage? It is in the budget breakdown is in the back of this, of where the county funds go in comparison to the city funds. So it would be, oh, I see. So it would be approximately $60,000 that goes toward the retention position.
60,000
yeah.
goes out of the 100,000.
Yes.
Okay, now, my second part of the question is, the business development and retention specialist is traveling to recruit businesses within a 60-mile radius?
Yes, but far enough away. And so this is the nice thing about working with a company like Retail Strategies. We're very cognizant about trying to pull too close from our own location. So what happens, and I think this has happened historically as well, is that if you're pulling an organization too close, like from Easton or Allentown or something that in that kind of proximity, you're not actually helping the business because they're cutting their population in half. Like their customer base is really now traveling to 2 storefronts as opposed to building a larger customer base. What we want to make sure is that the businesses that we're recruiting aren't currently pulling from a large demographic in our current area, right? So that they're actually developing more customer base and being more economically viable overall. Working with Retail Strategies, what they're able to do is like these same maps that they did for us to determine like what our customized trade area is, they can do for a business. They can really identify exactly who has been in that business and how far they're traveling, so they can position themselves far enough away from their current customer base to further capitalize on their market.
Okay, then I guess the third and final part of that question would be, when they recruit a business, are these businesses that are looking to extend their business into the area, or are you taking businesses out of those areas and bringing them back?
Yeah, we're looking to do second storefronts.
Okay.
We're not taking them out of another
Okay.
area. That, again, I don't feel like that benefits the business, and
Yeah.
like we're looking to increase economic viability.
That line was built to see that since we're funding a large majority of the salary of that person who's recruiting against possibly businesses, that's not true then. They're not really recruiting against.
Correct.
They're bringing businesses that
We're
were
bringing
a second or third
storefronts
story.
in.
Okay.
Yeah, from a far enough distance that that the business is not poaching on its current
Okay.
customer base.
That's fair. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, do we want to move this forward? Committee? No? Okay.
There's nothing to
All
move
right.
forward.
Okay, thank you very much.
Great, thank you.
Very good.
Okay. Next up, we have a presentation by the Miracle League.
Jennifer Dietrich is here from the Miracle League, who'll be doing their presentation.
You're helping tonight.
Thank you. Oh, okay.
Thank you for having us this evening. I'm Jennifer Dietrich. I'm the current president of the Miracle League of Northampton County. This is my first term as president. With me tonight is Rick Agretto, our vice president. And first, I'd like to pause and thank you for your past support. Our league was founded in 2012, was our first opening day. I was there as a parent with my 2 children. As the years have gone on, my involvement has grown, and I'm very thankful to now be president. And my children still play. to see the growth of the league during those, last year was our 5th year anniversary, is quite astounding. Our mission is really a simple one. We're giving kids the chance to experience something as simple as baseball. A lot of us take for granted. Others with individuals or children without any special needs, it's just a rite of passage, summertime passage. And I cannot recall personally how we even became involved in the league. It was probably through a physical therapist making mention of the league, but I remember it on opening day and the cutting of the ribbon, and from that time on, we found a place. We found a place that we'd tried other activities, we'd tried individualized sports, we'd tried team sports, but nothing really fit. This fit, and it became effortless, so it really has become part of our family. And we're trying to share those same opportunities with other families, and we're not just local to the Northampton County area, as you'll see. Our guiding principles are really quite simple. It's sustainable funding through community, government, and business support. And we have a beautiful facility over by the Schrin Community Center, if you've driven by it on 22. We're there every Saturday during the season and 2 weeknights. The facility was selected with inclusiveness in mind. At the time the field was constructed, we were the only field there. Now if you drive by, the grass fields that are being developed for soccer, lacrosse, every other sport, and the large turf field that sits right adjacent to ours embodies that spirit of inclusiveness. Our kids, they're on a baseball field playing right alongside other individuals. Makes them no different. The growth and development that we've seen in those 5 years has been word of mouth, has been the promotion from our board of directors, our other volunteers, and we are reaching individuals across the border as far north as Stroudsburg down into the Saucon Valley area. We really have good reach. And with each year, we're wanting to increase and promote that community engagement. We're bringing in more businesses for volunteering. We have a lot of active teams and youth groups that volunteer on a regular basis. And we never want to forget why we're there. We're there just to provide the service to these individuals. There's evidence of our growth. That opening day, 75 players. This season, 350 players.
Wow.
We're thriving.
We're thriving. So I made mention starting my involvement as a parent. As a parent of a child with special needs, your coffee meetups or your social engagements with other parents are oftentimes the waiting room of a therapy office. It's okay. It's just our normal. But when you go to a baseball game and we're able to tell the parents, you know, just sit back, don't worry, we got this. And they're able to just sit in the stands and watch, there's a load lightened. And they are just able to participate. They can safely pass off their child to their buddy, and that's who our volunteers are, they're buddies, and off they go out into the field. The level of engagement varies with each individual, and it could be spending the afternoon tossing the ball back and forth. It could be hitting the ball independently. Some of our individuals are more independent than others. We will have home runs, often over the fence. And it's just that freedom to let go. They can just sit back and relax. 2 years ago, we had some lights installed on the field, so we have nighttime games. Those are a huge hit if you ever have a chance to come by. We have a sound system, video board. The kids love hearing their names announced, and they watch their pictures up on the big board. To get an idea of those 350 players and the level of volunteerism required to support that, we've got easily over 1,000 volunteers per season joining us. We have 2 seasons a year. And those volunteers come from all walks of life. We're engaged with Northampton County's juvenile detention system. They bring kids over, and I think we've made a difference with them, not only the ones that are in detention, but also those serving community hours. And we see them come back even after the fact because they enjoy it. We have groups that come from youth groups,
It's amazing the outreach that one of our directors does to bring in the volunteers. I mean, we have various high school teams and various sports in the surrounding area that come and help our kids. We have community youth programs, all levels of sports, male, female, that come and help us. We have club teams, soccer, lacrosse. We have
College.
service organizations. We have church groups. We have businesses. We have the detention kids. Or we just have individuals that show up and just want to be a part of what we're doing. They hear about us and they want to come and help. And that's the best volunteer we can get when somebody's just coming off the street and helping us. It's great.
So over those 5 years, as you've seen our growth and our level of organization increase, we've contracted with 2 part-time individuals as our directors. Their roles are generally divided into player recruitment, player registration, uniforms, rosters, and our other individual manages the volunteers. Recruitment, game organization, and additionally, both of them work together for off-season activities. We are active 10 months a year. So even when there's snow on the ground, we've got holiday parties, we've got bowling events. 2 new events this year. We've added a bowling party and we added an Easter egg hunt. So we are only off January and July are our only 2 off months. So it's more than baseball. It's family engagement beyond the field.
And if you haven't heard or seen in the community, we have a trick-or-treat night on our field for our kids and their siblings. That's phenomenal. There's close to 50 vendors that set up on our field, and they all come in outfit, and they're all judged, and they all get trophies. But our kids benefit most because they're in a safe environment. And there's treats for them like you can't believe. They take a big haul of stuff with them when they leave our trick-or-treat night. And we have hot dogs from Potsy's, and we have all kinds of neat things and gifts for these kids. We have a Christmas party. We have Iron Pigs night where our kids are out on the field and they bat and they're with the Iron Pigs players. And we sell tickets to our families. We buy 250 tickets for the pavilion where the food is being served. They're $28 tickets. We charge our parents $10 a ticket. And they sell out immediately. And we fundraise the other to defray the cost for them, the $18 per ticket.
So our role as the Miracle League, our mission is to provide opportunities for baseball. But in all honesty, we consider ourselves really an extension of the human services offered within the county. And if you look at our player breakout, the majority of them do come from Northampton County. We do get players from Warren County, some Lehigh County players, but those are majority from Northampton County. And if you were aware of there's about 1,700 individuals that receive medical assistance under the age of 18 in Northampton County. We've got 350 kids. A large portion of those are probably receiving medical assistance. So please consider us just an extension of human services. That's what we do. Pie charts. You can see that the majority of our revenues, we do receive a large amount of our revenue from direct public support. We have banners on our outfield, we do fundraising activities, and in addition to that, it's government support and grant writing is how we obtain the money to do what we need to do. Our expenses, large portion of it is our contract services and those overhead expenses, insurance, maintenance, et cetera. Know that the Northampton County support that we've received in the past is less than half of our director expenses. So, anything you'd like to add, Rick?
No. We've always appreciated the support of the Northampton County Council for our kids with intellectual and physical disabilities. As I stated earlier, we are thriving. We continue to provide outreach and bring more and more people to our field. I think we're educating our community, we're educating our youth with their involvement with our kids. These kids that come and help us are becoming better people. Families that come and help us are becoming just better people for the experience that they have when they come and work with us and work with our kids. When you see a kid get out of a wheelchair to get up to hit the ball and then not want to get back in that wheelchair and walk to first base on his own, I'm telling you, that's impressive to see. And that's the motivation that these kids have when they come to our field, and they want to be baseball players. And they love coming, and like I said, we continue to grow, and we continue to need your support, so we appreciate the time and effort that you give to us. Thank you.
Any questions for us?
Questions? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. We've been on board since before you broke ground for the field. We know all of this already, and we really appreciate all the good work you do. And it's a great thing, and I will support it continuously. And I'm sure everybody on council. I mean, there's 4 of us have been here since the beginning, I believe, and everybody else is up to speed now. So thank you. It's really great program.
Opening day, September 8th.
We've only
We'll be there
had
for
one
7
no
weeks.
vote the entire time we were here.
Yes, that's right, we did.
One?
Can I
One
add,
no
Ken,
vote.
Ken, can I add something? First of all, Jen, right?
Jennifer.
Jennifer? Nothing against Mr. Gretto, he's been behind everything, but I am so glad that you're speaking and you're also a parent.
You okay?
I mean, that brings a lot of heart to this program, and I'm so glad that you're ahead of it right now. And I know that Rick's heart's in the right place too, but I'm just saying it's wonderful to have the parents involved in getting into that scope of the work that gets done. And I have been fortunate enough to be on the field with those kids and spent time. I have some family members that are handicapped that benefit from those types of activities. So thank you for your conviction, okay?
You're welcome.
Thank you. Peg?
Yes, thank you for what you do. It's a great opportunity for these kids. I can't believe how many kids you have involved now. But I had one question on your expenses. Could you give me an example of subcontractors on your revenue? It's such a large part of your budget is subcontractor. Give me an example of who are they?
Those 2 subcontractors are our directors. Those are our contracted individuals that are operating our player and volunteer coordination. They're 2 individuals that have been with us since the beginning, and then we formalized their positions 2 years ago and contracted with them to make it, I mean, their role is
We can't do it without.
correct.
the
They are
one
the
person.
backbone.
That's what I didn't know what you meant
the
by
player recruitment
subcontractors.
person,
That's the 1099 portion of it.
The player recruitment person happens to be an adaptive physical education teacher at Illinois Intermediate Unit 20, and she also runs Northampton County Special Olympics. So she knows all the kids and she knows all the families. So it's a natural for us. Our volunteer recruitment person is someone who ran the Miracle League of the Lehigh Valley when that first came under operation up in Heidelberg Township. He since now is working as the director of public works in recreation out of the Schrin building, and he's our volunteer recruitment person. So he's a natural as well. Those 2 individuals are priceless.
Thank you.
Lori? Ms. Hefner?
I appreciate everything you do. I have a client whose child is in your league and she loves it, but she's also a very overwhelmed parent. So I have 2 questions. What do you do in terms of parent support? And if you want to message me privately and not this meeting, I'd love to hear that. And second, how do you recruit? Like, you have things in the schools? Do you go to the leagues? Like, how do you keep recruiting some other parents? Because as a clinician, I would take this information and I would hand it out to people if you made it available to me. So just asking that.
The recruitment happens in our schools. Northampton County Special Olympics, these are the same kids, basically. Right. And so many of our teachers at Colonial Intermediate Unit 20, plus district teachers, are connected to Colonial Intermediate Unit because that's an educational service agency. So the word gets out that way through information flyers so that we can recruit and get teachers involved. And we have many teachers who are coaches for our teams that are special educators. So yeah, we're really hitting and pounding the payments for the schools to get the word out to the kids and families. That's the easiest way and fastest way we can get information out there.
And as far as parent support, a lot of it's an informal network that's information shared during games and activities. We have explored having information nights, and we do have other individuals that have contacted us to share information about trusts and other special needs.
And
so
we
there's
do
nothing
have,
formal.
We do have Facebook. We do
Right.
have, I think we're starting a Twitter account.
We are on Twitter. One of our recent additions to our board, we added a youth representative because I wasn't either. So we've had 2 new board representatives added, and one was an additional IU20 individual who the first weekend he came to the game, I can't recount how many games were interrupted by the kids running up to him and jumping in his arms. He knows everybody.
He's a supervisor for autistic programs.
Mhm.
So these are the kind of people we have involved with us.
And then our recent addition was a senior, and that is our youth representative.
Yeah, she goes to Freedom High School. Great kid. Awesome kid.
And they're the ones who are going to help us connect and continue to build that relationship with our youth volunteers.
Anybody else? I just want to say thank you for all your staff for all the work improving the quality of life for these folks and for their families. And thank you very much. And we all, I think, unanimously support this. So thank you.
Thanks so much.
Okay, next up we have the presentation by Slate Belt Rising, Mr. Hartney. They're a fantastic group that's doing a lot of work up north. And there's a handout here for everyone.
Just to set this up a little bit for you, Slate Belt Rising is coming in and asking for a reprogramming of a 2018 hotel tax award that they were awarded funds for a project that they're not going to be able to move forward on, and this is a slight reprogramming. We felt that it was different enough that you should hear it and approve it. This is Stephen Ryder. He's the director for Slate Belt Rising.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for letting me speak to you tonight. Again, my name is Stephen Ryder. I'm the director for Slate Belt Rising. If you don't know what Slate Belt Rising is, we are a revitalization program for the boroughs of Bangor, Penargil, Portland, and Wingate. I know the Slate Belt is 10 municipalities. We are focused in those 4 boroughs, though. As you'll see in this presentation, we are spilling out into the townships and trying to work together with them as well. So part of our goals for Slate Belt Rising, we have many different aspects. Economic development is one of them. What we would like to do is, or what we have done, is created a marketing strategy and a new regional branding strategy for the region with the goal of attracting visitors with events and making the Slate Belt a more welcoming place for people who may want to come up for the day and see what we have to offer. To achieve this, we had originally planned on hosting a 5K, 10K, 25K event, which would have gone through 9 of the 10 municipalities. Unfortunately, we came across some unforeseen problems with that plan, and it was no longer feasible for us to host it within the time frame that we had, so we had to move in a different direction. So as Mark had mentioned, we are here to try to repurpose those funds and build off of some of the marketing and promotion and branding that we are already doing and have started this year. I will give some of the examples of that here. In 2017, we hired a woman-owned and operated company out of Bethlehem, Image Evolution, to create a marketing and branding strategy for us and for the region. In 2018, our steering committee budgeted $15,000 in NPP funds to start to implement this. Fortunately, we were able to leverage those funds with a $500 grant from the Lehigh Valley Chamber of Commerce and $12,500 in county SIP funds. We used those to purchase 80 utility pole banners and 10 gateway signs that if you come up to the Slate Belt and travel on 512, 191, 611, you'll most certainly see them. They're all on display now. We also purchased advertising through Lehigh Valley Marketplace. We went into the Pocono region with radio advertisement on 93.5 WSBG. And we also created brochures that will be distributed throughout the valley. So these are examples of our banners. We were able to pull something from all of the boroughs, whether it's the architecture of Bangor, the historic carousel in Penargil, the river in Portland, and the ATC, or the AT in Wind Gap. So these are the banners, as well as the gateway signs. This was a large feat for us to complete because we had 4 boroughs that didn't always necessarily get along, 2 different rival school districts. So to have something that they shared was definitely a big accomplishment, and we're very happy with this project. I know it's probably hard to read, but these are currently at the printer, so I don't have any brochures for you now. I will have them in the near future. This is where we tie in with the other municipalities, because we could cover events, other things that are happening in the other municipalities. The wineries are located in the townships, outdoor recreational opportunity, and other events that are happening in our town. If you do have a subscription to Lehigh Valley Marketplace, you will see this ad this month. This is going in the August edition. That is a list of events through August, from August all the way through October. We are also planning to do one in November to help support our local businesses in our downtown districts for like a holiday shopping ad. That is before Bangor closes their pool for the year. Anyone's invited to come with their dogs and have them swim in the pool. So that's the Pooch Plunge.
It says Pooch Plunge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
So moving forward now through future years, again, we are looking to use our 2018 hotel tax grant money to continue what we've started and not just promote one event, multiple events, including the Slate Belt Bash, which we are hosting in Portland on September 30th. It is a Sunday. There will be games, food vendors, entertainment, and a road rally scavenger hunt that is designed for teams to hop in their cars, drive around the Slate Belt, and complete tasks. There'll be prizes and everyone for whoever completes the most tasks in the shortest amount of time, so on and so forth. I would encourage you all to get on the team and come up and take part in that. I know Councilman Dietz, he would probably be a good asset because he probably knows the lay of the land best. So,
he is on the phone listening.
So he's there. So yeah, so that would be a good person to have. And then obviously thank you to all of our supporters, especially Northampton County. You guys have been very good to us in our first 2 years, and we look forward to continuing to work with you guys.
Excuse me, when is your road rally? I just want
September 30th.
3rd?
30th.
30th.
Road rally.
Thank you all. Thank you very much for the work you're doing up there. Keep up the good work. And
Any other
questions for anyone?
You said you want to repurpose the funding that we gave you on the hotel tax grant.
Yes.
Now, usually when you don't use it for the funding, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, we have a person who watches it all, you have to send it back and then reapply for it. Is there some kind of reapplication or something that's going on for repurposing the funding?
So this year, we moved to a reimbursement process. So instead of us sending out the money in quarterly installments,
right,
and then asking for them to show us documentation that they spent it the way they said they were going to spend it, we are now asking them to submit a reimbursement request where they incur the expense and then we reimburse them for those funds. So because they were changing the project, we had an opportunity to do something about it.
Yeah, but typically we grant a project and that's it. You can't deviate and change the project in the middle and repurpose it for something else unless it comes in front of here. So I'm curious if all the money's going back and then you're coming to us for another hotel tax grant for next year, or you just want to do it midstream?
Well, so this $5,000, you have the option of deciding whether or not they can repurpose that. This was a 2018 award.
Right.
Or if you would say no, that money would go back into the pot and be distributed during our normal hotel tax.
So there's a resolution somewhere in here
process.
for us?
There
to-
will, if you're supportive of this, we'll have a resolution for you at the next meeting.
Well, I support it. I support Slate Belt.
I think you could do it by a motion and then.
Yeah, I'd
I
make,
don't think you need a resolution.
I'd make the motion to let them do it.
I actually think that we could probably do it administratively, but I
Right.
think it's better that council be heard on it.
Yeah, but I'd make I think it's a great cause and everything you're doing is fine. I'm just asking, because usually grants, people want it to be paid for exactly what it was, allowed for. And I think it's a great repurpose of it. I agree with everything you're doing. So that's just my question. I mean, if we need a motion or something to do it, that's easier.
Is there any other questions before we move to that?
Not a question, just a comment, but the purpose of a resolution is to express a consensus of council, so I think that would be the best course of action. And I would support it, certainly.
Yeah, I think we're all in support of it, yeah. So.
Even the pooch plunge.
The pooch plunge, yeah.
Yeah, even the pooch plunge is great.
We appreciate the work. So do we still want to just?
We'll make a resolution.
Make a resolution?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
All right.
you.
We're all in support of it, and we hope that your new plan works out well for you.
Thank you.
And thank you. Keep
I
up
make a
the good
motion that
work.
we make a resolution for the next meeting, so we can
Okay,
vote on it,
there's a
all right?
okay.
Thank you.
Pooch plunge? Yeah, I heard my dog's dead. What kind of thing is that?
Okay, the update on the hotel tax grant.
Yes, really quick. So just so that council is aware, our hotel tax review committee met. We had approximately 41 applications, requested amount equaling $1.2 million. We have the recommendations handed off to the executive in the amount of $420,000. So we will have those final opportunities come before you.
What's the total of our hotel tax that's available? Yeah, it comes what's the amount of hotel tax that we have available this year?
$420,000.
That's it? We have a bad year with hotels or what?
It is, revenue is down.
It will be budgeted in excess of that.
Right.
But we never can really tell, so we don't want.
We don't know what we're going to get.
Understand.
Is that up until this
We don't want to
point?
make commitments that we
Can't keep,
Right.
yep. Okay, thanks.
So the-
It just seemed like it was down.
can't. We're pretty conservative.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
So
Thank
the
you.
hotel is having market leakage as well.
Yes. Yes, but I think
Not that much.
we did a nice job, and Mr. McGee was a great advocate for council, and we were very fair in distributing those. So thank you, Bill, for participating.
Likewise, it was great working with you guys.
All right. I'm going to have Frank come up and quickly talk about our upcoming CDBG programs, because at next council meeting, we have something that needs to be passed through council for vote for HUD funding. Frank?
Thank you, council members. Very quickly, I have two resolutions on. The first one is to approve a HUD program, our annual action program. The county received $1.54379 in CDBG funding. The action plan is what we submit every year to HUD. It tells HUD how we're actually going to spend this money. We hope you approve this. You have taken a look at the projects previously. You have taken a look at the amount of money you have approved for the project. So this is the kind of the end process that we did to get the money, get the applications out to the community, and then we get the community monies back to us. So this is the end result, and we're looking for your approval for this. On the next agenda, we have this is every 3 years we have to reauthorize our urban area to HUD. This is one of the things that we're doing. We did a process. We ran a process. We asked every one of the 36 municipalities if they would be interested in staying with us, and we had a unanimous, yes. The interesting thing this year is that we're going to include the city of Easton in this so that we can actually get more additional funding. This will bring some entitlements directly to us, particularly the Emergency Solutions Grant. You need a rural area, you need a large area like the 36 municipalities in Northampton County that currently are in our CDBG program, and an urban city. Well, now that we have an urban city, we're going to wind up with a lot more entitlement money. There's a growth lag statistically between some of the rural areas and an urban city, and also lets us get emergency solutions grant money. We're projecting between $200,000 to $300,000 in additional money dedicated to preventing homelessness and shelter management. So we're coming. That will be up on the next agenda, and we urge you to take a look at that and approve that also. Thank you.
Thank you.
May I ask a very quick question? Hopefully I get a quick answer.
Sure.
Oh, Bill,
Sure,
well, I'm
please.
used to him giving permission. I guess the question I have is the definition, what makes us an urban county? Because I'm not familiar with that.
Well, it's a term by HUD, actually.
Okay.
And what it is there's an entitlement that HUD has for larger areas. Like Easton has their own entitlement. Bethlehem has their own entitlement. And what we do is we corral the rest of our municipalities together under our program. Easton has a smaller entitlement. The advantage to Easton is that we will pick up all the administration, all the programmatic stuff that we have to do anyway. It would save Easton a ton of money, and it makes it much more efficient for them to run their programs. They would actually be able to take their allocation that they get and actually be able to spend that inside their program.
I mean, I understand. So what you're saying is the city's population centers can apply separately, and what we're doing is doing it for the rest of the county. That makes sense. Thank you. That's what I was curious about.
Was this a new change with the HUD, with the way that, or was this just something you guys happened to identify, or is this just something that the demographics changed?
No, this is something that our office actually went out and pursued.
And identified.
And
Good.
asked and
Good job.
met with council and got the approval.
Okay. Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Are there certain activities or things that you're expected to do under that grant or that act?
Oh, no different than what we've been doing currently. There's no change.
So the spending's going to be the same, it's just going to be more?
Correct.
More,
As a matter of fact,
more
two of the
funding and-
recipients that spoke tonight are also CDBG recipients.
Yeah,
So
I-
it's nice to see this program come in. We've had a nice allotment in. And we'll look forward to more programs and bring more applications to you. Thank you.
Do we need to make a motion to put these on? No motions? Okay. All right. Great. So that, anything else for the committee?
Motion to
Lois,
adjourn.
too? Okay. Motion to adjourn.
All right. Good job.
I thought we had to
Make stuff. I got you.